Welcome. I'm Julie Farha, and you're listening to Julie's Journal. I decided to create this program to share what I've learned in my life about the spiritual strengths that people possess. I will share stories and discuss topics close to me to shed spiritual light on the challenges we all face. I'll discuss opportunities to use your spiritual strengths for personal growth and to navigate life with clarity and purpose. Whether you're listening on your commute, during a walk, or while you have a quiet moment to yourself, I'm glad you're here. If you find this information helpful, please do all the social things for me. Like, follow, subscribe, and join the Clear Insight community. How to navigate difficult conversations. Why this feels so hard. Conversations about current events are tricky these days. You don't know what others believe, if your comments will trigger them, or if they'll cause tension. Or even worse, the key to keeping things cool? Seek to understand. We have lost our sense of humanity. We are quick to dismiss, judge, and even condemn on face value, and forget that we are all human beings navigating this life the best we can and sharing the same space, bumping into each other as we go along. The real cost. When we can't talk to each other, we all lose. Families split, friendships end, communities fracture. This communication breakdown isn't just uncomfortable, it's costly. But here's what I've learned. Conversations, if done correctly, can create a sense of connection. They give us a deeper awareness of an individual, which expands our sense of humanity. Here's Sarah and Abby's story. Let me share a story that shows the power of seeking to understand. Imagine Sarah and Abby, friends for 15 years. Their monthly lunches are sacred, especially since Abby helped Sarah through her divorce. Sarah arrives at the restaurant excited to catch up. 40 minutes pass. No Abby, no text, no call. Sarah is devastated. I feel invisible, she thinks, like our friendship means nothing to her. Her first instinct? Send an angry text. Instead, she goes silent. For 3 days, she nurses her hurt, building a case that Abby has changed and no longer values their friendship. But something keeps nagging at her. This isn't like Abby. Her gut says something is off. So instead of staying in her hurt, she decides to seek to understand first. Instead of accusing, Sarah texts, "Hey, I'm confused about what happened last weekend. Can we talk?" When Abby immediately calls, worried, Sarah takes a breath. "Abby, I waited for you Saturday. What happened?" Abby's stunned. "Saturday? But we never confirmed. I had Emma's tournament all day. I told you about it weeks ago." The revelation hits them both. Sarah heard Saturday at noon. Abby said, "Saturday's no good. Let's plan something soon." Instead of just apologizing and moving on, they go deeper. Sarah shares how ignored she felt. Abby reveals she's been overwhelmed and not fully present lately. What could have ended a 15-year friendship becomes a doorway to a deeper connection. All because one person chose curiosity over conviction. Why we see things differently. Our beliefs are shaped by our experiences, upbringing, socioeconomic status, and cultural identity. We all share the ultimate goal of meeting our basic needs, yet we have different ideas about the best way to achieve this for ourselves and our communities. A different opinion can feel like a threat to your needs being met if we don't take the time to understand further. This perceived threat creates an instant breakdown in communication. But when you dig deeper, you discover something powerful. It's often as simple as a different vantage point. My father's America. Let me share a personal example that opened my eyes to this principle. I come from an immigrant family. My father came to this country in 1950. My mother's father came to the U.S. in the late 1920s from the same country. They left war, instability, economic limitations, and a lack of opportunity. Throughout his life, my father always shared his great love for this country and his gratitude for the opportunities it afforded him and his family, despite the insurmountable obstacles he encountered, especially in the early years. Because of my father, this is the lens through which I see this country, a nation with more freedoms, opportunity, and abundance than any other nation. I'm deeply concerned about the issues we face and the profoundly broken systems that underpin them. Still, in my perspective, these three things make the United States of America great, And through these pillars, obstacles, both personally and nationally, can be overcome. Another friend's family has been here for generations, so the uniqueness of this country is not the first thing she sees. She acknowledges it, but in her view, the impact of the broken systems is the current state of the nation, and isn't a country she is proud of at present. She gets involved to bring change and help those she feels are squeezed by the nation's problems. Can you see the value and truth in both perspectives? If you are laser focused on your opinions being right, you'll miss the other details that could provide the complete picture of the truth, all grounded in the human experience. The 4-step approach. After years of navigating these challenging discussions and testing different conversation techniques, I've developed a simple formula that actually works. Let me walk you through it. Step 1 is to seek to understand, not respond. Before you share your perspective, commit to truly understanding theirs. What do they believe? That's the actual position they hold. How did they come to that conclusion? What experiences formed this belief? And why does it matter to them? What are their personal stakes involved? Let me share another story that shows this in action. A woman I know is in her early 30s and has 2 dogs, a pit bull and a Doberman. She's trained the dogs well and is a responsible dog owner, yet some of her neighbors constantly complain to her. These breeds can make people uncomfortable and instill fear. There were young children on the block as well. Her dogs were well behaved, but neighbors kept criticizing her for having 2 dogs like this. The neighborhood she lived in was safe. Why did she need these protective breeds? Yet no one asked her why she chose these specific dogs. Finally, instead of complaining to her, one neighbor approached differently. I'm curious, why these particular dogs in this neighborhood? Once asked with genuine curiosity rather than judgment, she was willing to share her very personal truth. She had been sexually assaulted twice in her life by men she knew and trusted. Her sense of personal safety was severely compromised from that moment on. Having these protective breeds made her feel safe in a world that had violated her. Once her why was known, everything shifted. People understood and were more accepting. They were still wary of the dogs, and she knew this, so she made a point of explaining how they'd been trained and the specific steps she takes to be a responsible pet owner. She showed them the dog's gentle side and introduced them properly. Now everyone, including her, was more at ease, not being harassed about her choice. The difference? One neighbor chose curiosity over criticism. One question, asked with genuine interest instead of judgment, revealed a truth that transformed the entire dynamic. Step 2 is to dive deeper with genuine curiosity. The magic happens here. Instead of preparing your rebuttal, you stay curious. You replace judgment with wonder. Sometimes you might sense there's more to their story, feeling that they're protecting something or that their words don't match their energy. Trust that intuitive hit and gently explore it. Ask open-ended questions like, help me understand, or what was it like when? Mirror back your accuracy, so what I'm hearing you say is, and stay emotionally regulated. Your triggers are your responsibility. Step 3 is to share your perspective without agenda. Now it's your turn, but with a crucial difference. Don't try to influence or change their beliefs. Share to be known, not to convince. Avoid criticism or dismissal. Your truth doesn't cancel theirs. Share, exchange, and understand. It's a dialogue, not a debate. Acknowledge both agreements and disagreements. I see it differently, and that's okay. Step 4 is to find the both and, not the either or. The result of this approach is powerful. You get respectful exchange and discord even when you disagree. You both gain expanded awareness. You both learn something. You find unity among differences, making space for all perspectives, and human connection is established. The perceived threat diminishes. Your intuitive advantage. You might notice that you naturally pick up on things others miss. The slight shift in someone's energy when a topic comes up, the way their voice changes when they're speaking from fear versus love, or even knowing that this conversation isn't the right one at this time. These aren't just lucky guesses. They are your soul specialties at work, helping you navigate conversations. Whether you're someone who feels the emotional temperature of the room, sees the bigger picture, or knows when something needs to be said or not said, trust these signals. They're part of your navigation system for difficult conversations. When you get triggered, please give this a try. The challenge will be emotionally regulating yourself. Recognize when you get triggered. That is on you and an inside job, not the person or the thing that is triggering you. Have tools to center yourself. Maybe you feel that familiar tightness in your chest or that heat rising to your face. These physical sensations are your intuition signaling you to pause. When you feel triggered, that's your signal to pause. Take a breath. Remember, this is about connection, not correction. Let me share a 30-second reset technique you can practice. When you're triggered, first pause and take 3 deep belly breaths. That takes about 10 seconds. Then you feel your feet on the ground. 5 seconds. Soften your shoulders and your jaw. Another 5 seconds. Remind yourself, connection over correction. Another 5 seconds. Ask yourself, what do I need to understand here? 5 seconds. Then return to the conversation with renewed curiosity. Grace is key. We are complicated people, and staying calm and steady all the time can be hard. But simply acknowledging that being human in the conversation can diffuse your trigger and any tension created. Know your triggers. Here's a practice you can do to prepare for difficult conversations. Sit down with a pen and paper and try to identify a few things. First, what topics historically activate you? Second, what phrases push your buttons? Third, what body sensations signal activation? Fourth, what are your go-to defense responses? And fifth, what is your centering strategy for each? Awareness is your first line of defense. When the other person gets triggered, be sure to offer the same grace to others. When someone else gets activated, you might sense it before they even speak. A sudden heaviness in the air, a shift in their breathing, or just that inexplicable knowing that something struck a nerve. Trust this awareness. It's your cue to slow down and proceed with extra gentleness. When the other person gets triggered, slow down the conversation. Acknowledge their feelings without agreeing or disagreeing. And return to curiosity. Tell me more about what concerns you the most. When to press pause. Sometimes the best thing you can do is pause the conversation entirely. When emotions are high for productive dialogue. When either person is tired, hungry, or stressed. When you've reached an impasse and need time to process. It's okay to step back. That's not avoiding, that's wisdom. Applying this to different situations, let me share how this approach works in a few common scenarios. For political conversations with family, start with the shared family value before exploring political differences. Remember, you'll still be in the family after the election. For workplace discussions, focus on professional common ground and shared organizational goals. Keep it brief and respect that not everyone wants to engage. For social media interactions, consider whether this is the right medium for deep understanding. When you know the person, sometimes moving to a phone call or in-person conversation is the better choice. If you're engaging with a stranger, this is not the place for such conversations. In conversations with children, model curiosity and respect for different perspectives while remaining age-appropriate. The ripple effect. When you master this approach, you become a bridge builder in your community. Each conversation handled with grace and empathy creates a ripple effect, showing others that connection across differences is possible. It takes practice, but once you make this your standard, you will enjoy conversations more and receive the blessings of human connection. Your next conversation. Before your next difficult conversation, here's how to prepare. First, set your intention. Connection over correction. Second, check your energy. Are you resourced enough for deep listening? Third, prepare your reset tool. How will you center yourself if triggered? Fourth, remember the human. They are doing the best they can with what they know. And fifth, tune into your spiritual signals. What is your body telling you about this conversation? What do you sense beyond the words? In closing, start small. Choose a low-stakes conversation to practice. Once you understand how to have difficult conversations with this approach, you'll notice the shifts that occur when you lead with curiosity instead of conviction. Every difficult conversation is an opportunity to understand, connect, to grow. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to try. Start with one conversation. Choose curiosity over conviction, and watch what shifts. And remember, I'm here when you need support along the way. Let me answer some common questions that I hear all the time. People often ask, What if the other person isn't willing to listen? You can't control their openness, only model it yourself. Sometimes the best outcome is peacefully agreeing to disagree while maintaining respect. Another question I hear is, how do I handle conversations about topics where I have strong moral conviction? You can hold strong values while still seeking to understand how others arrived at theirs. Understanding doesn't mean agreement or abandoning your own principles. People also ask, what if I'm too emotional to have this conversation objectively? Trust that instinct. It's okay to say, this is important to me and I want to discuss it when I can listen fully. Can we revisit this later? And finally, should I avoid all political conversations to keep the peace? Avoidance can build resentment. Instead, be selective. Engage when you're resourced and with people who matter the most to you.